We just had a major layoff in Indianapolis at the end of last week. It's for Carrier air conditioner in Indianapolis, and hence the title. And we have video of it. I'm going to show you the video, and after the video, I'm going to give you facts about the parent company for Carrier air conditioner. It's called United Technologies. And now you're going to see in the video here the person in charge is telling everybody, "Hey, pipe down. We had to do this." We'll find out after the video if they really did have to do this. But first, watch the anger rise in that crowd.
The best way to stay competitive and protect the business for long term is to move production from our facility in Indianapolis to Monterrey, Mexico. Where we have existing Carrier facilities. Listen, I've got information that's important to share as a part of the transition. If we could go ahead. If you don't want to hear it, other people do. So let's quiet down. Thank you very much. I want to be clear. This is strictly a business decision. Once again, let's please get more information to share. We will sit down with officials from the union in the coming days.
How long it takes people to start tearing shit?
Throughout the transition, we must remain committed to manufacturing the same high-quality products that we always do.
Yeah, fuck you.
In case you didn't hear, there was a voice saying, "How long will it take before people start tearing this shit up?" And then another guy said, "Yeah, fuck you." So that crowd, by the way, of 1,400 employees that just got laid off right there. Now, the slight appeasement they had was, you're not laid off yet. We're going to go through a little bit into 2017, and then all your jobs will be gone. They'll be off to Mexico. So don't start tearing shit up yet, okay? And that crowd was so representative. You see the whites, blacks, males, females. That right there was America that just got laid off. So some people are theorizing this might help Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. Of course it will. Of course it will. We've had this system that's crushing the average American for all this time. And these guys are saying that's enough of that. Now they have two totally different ideas on how to fix that. But the establishment has given us that. So obviously people are pissed. And they're more pissed than I am. Because look, I'm too big a lib, right? I think, well, people in Mexico need a job too. Now, no, Americans don't want to hear that. Okay, and I know that corporations will do everything they can to squeeze every extra dollar. In fact, they're legally obligated to do that. It's their fiduciary responsibility to do that. But maybe we should have a government that checks them rather than aids and abets them. So to me, that's the big difference. But people aren't even going to be anywhere near me. They're going to be way to the left of me, and some of them mistakenly way to the right of me with things that are going to actually head further in this direction. But now, that's the central question for me, and I think for a lot of people who are paying attention to this, which is, did they really have to do this? Well, let's go to the parent company facts here. Zach Carter and Ryan Grimm with a great article in Huffington Post. The past few years have been very good for United Technologies. The contractor does billions of dollars a year in business with the federal government. Wow, lots of business, but hey, that doesn't mean they're making a profit. We'll get to that in a second. Can the government do something? Well, they do have billions of dollars of contracts with the government. That gives you some leverage. So let's see how the executives are doing. CEO Gregory Hayes pulled down nearly $10 million in 2014 and over $20 million the year before. So it appears they have some room for salary for some of the employees. Again, I'm more moderate than I think most of our audience is. I think, hey, if you're doing a great job as a CEO and it's justifiable, I get it, right? But if you're firing people while you're taking in that money, well, then that's a little bit more questionable. Okay, and I think most Americans would agree with that. But we haven't gone anywhere near to the worst part yet. On Thursday, the company reported $7.6 billion in profits, not revenue, profits, up from $6.2 billion the year before and $5.7 billion the year before that. So when they say, this Carrier International, it's part of Carrier Air Conditioner, is part of United Technologies, and United Technologies, we just had, our arms twisted by the markets, we had to do this move. No, you didn't. You made a giant amount of money. You didn't have to make the move. Now, what we can't get through the heads of the media, really, because the Republicans get it. They know what's going on. This is all a game played on you guys, right? They say, well, look, man, corporations need all these tax cuts. They need all these breaks. And if you give all that stuff to them, then they will do the right thing. No, there's no doing the right thing with a corporation. Again, I think I'm enormously moderate here. Corporations aren't evil. They're not human beings. They don't have the capacity for morality. We're having an absurd conversation in this country. They are amoral. They have no morality. They are obligated, because of the way that we have set up the system, to crush everything in their path to make that extra cent. Workers at Indianapolis, why would they care? They're robots. Corporations are legal fictions that are designed and built to be steamrollers. We built them, but now they're crushing us. Okay, now to give you a sense of how out of control this is, in October, United Technologies even expanded its stock buyback program to $12 billion. Spending the company's money to purchase its own stock elevates the value of its share prices. United Technologies was so flush with cash that it could burn money to boost return for its investors. So let me explain that for you guys not overly familiar with exactly how that works. There's two parts of this. One is, when you're buying back shares of your own company, that means you have so much money you literally don't know what to do with it. Now, normally in how capitalism is supposed to work, if it's not rigged, is you're supposed to take the money and then invest it into the business. Maybe have new factories, new plants, hire more workers, whether they're in Mexico or the US, right? Here, they're not even doing that. They don't know what to do with all the money they have, but they're still firing American workers. Now, the second part of why they do the buyback program is it inflates the price of the stock. Well, who owns a lot of the stock? The executives. So they're using the money, instead of using it for little extra wages in America or the same wages in America, so you could actually keep those people hired instead of moving their jobs to Mexico. No, they're not using it for that. They're using it to pump up the share price of the stocks they own to make even more money in compensation, but only for the executives. Okay. And also the shareholders, of course. All right. Now, I want to repeat what that administrator was saying there as he was trying to get the masses to understand the reasons for this. He said, please quiet down. This was an extremely difficult decision. It doesn't really appear so. It seems like there was a lot of ways you could have gone with that decision, and you guys decided, we're making record profits, we don't know what to do with it. Screw it, let's fire him anyway. Because you know why? We can make an extra couple of bucks if we move it to Mexico. Now, I believe our representatives are supposed to look out for us. They're not supposed to listen to liberals like me going, hey, you know what, they need jobs in Mexico too. That's not a popular position in America. I'm admitting it to you, right? They're supposed to go, no, hell no. We got to do what we got to do to make sure those jobs are here. Here's one thing you could do. A lot of the money they make is from the government. You could say, I will give you government contracts to the tune of billions of dollars like you're getting now, as long as you hire American workers. Wow, that's so hard. That's not hard at all. They just choose not to do that. And here again, Huffington Post explains. For decades, Congress has listened to corporate lobbyists who told our representatives that if they could just cut this one tax rate or just ease this one regulation, there would be a renaissance of prosperity. The renaissance has happened for the rich. Everyone else has been left behind. So all those promises of trickle down, it's not trickling down to you. They don't care. Who thinks that an amoral machine built for maximizing profits would care about you? Who would be stupid enough to think that? Well, all of Washington pretends that that's the case. Now we have Senator Joe Donnelly. He's from Indiana. He's a Democrat. He's supposed to be protecting the people. Democrats are more progressive. He says, oh, golly gee, he got tricked by this whole thing. He says, these same folks, talking about the company, said if we put in tax extenders, things like bonus depreciation, research credit, the Export-Import Bank, that things would be better and that they could protect jobs. He said, I sat here and fought for Export-Import Bank because these folks came in here and said this will help American jobs stay in America. Senator Donnelly, I got to be honest with you. You're either dishonest or stupid. And probably stupid, to be honest, okay? And I'm not putting it just on Joe Donnelly. I'm putting it on all of them, okay? these guys come in here, and I've railed against the Export-Import Bank. Now here's a position. Now I've been a liberal, a moderate, and now I'm going to be conservative on this issue, all in one story. Because it depends. It depends on what you're talking about. Use your mind, use your judgment. In this case, the Republicans argued against the Export-Import Bank. I defended them. It's a rare situation where the Republicans were right, okay, and the Democrats were more pro-corporate position and anti-American position. And so the Democrats came in and said, oh, yeah, the Export-Import Bank. And it's complicated as to how that works. Oh, that's going to help American workers. No, it's not. It's going to help the corporations. And you knew that. And if you don't know that, you're dumb. And it's possible these guys are paid to be dumb. Like, oh, look at all these corporate donations I got. And they tell me it's for the help of the American workers and it's going to trickle on their heads. Oh, it didn't. Oh, golly gee, I got fooled again. I bet Joe Donnelly gets fooled again. It's funny how they keep getting fooled, right? So this isn't for any of them. Now, finally, explaining how this company happened to fool all these politicians in the first place. Zach Carter and Ryan Grimm explain again. It contributes, the company does, millions of dollars a year to well over 100 nonprofits, from the centrist Brookings Institution think tank to partisan groups including Democratic Governors Association and the Republican Governors Association, to anti-tax organizations and straight-up corporate lobbying front groups. These are called nonprofits as if they're charities. None of them are charities. These think tanks, you think anybody's thinking at them? No, whether they're so-called progressive think tanks or conservative think tanks, they're funded by corporations to do propaganda. To say, oh yeah, corporations are wonderful. Oh yeah, they're going to trickle down that profit to you any second now. And then the senators and the congressmen take, well, the think tank told me this. What could I do, golly gee? And then they poured money into your campaigns. They poured money into lobbying so that they could get all the tax breaks, all the deregulation. And then while they ship your job to another country, the representatives, shh, don't say a word. What happened? I thought that this was all to create American jobs. It turns out it's doing the exact opposite. So I understand why the corporations do it. I understand that, yes, it helps some people in other countries. But our representatives are supposed to represent us, not these corporations. But that's not how the system is today. It's rigged. It's crony capitalism. We don't have free and fair elections anymore. And almost all of our politicians have been bought by multinational corporations. If you don't fix it, then don't be surprised when something like this happens. You got to fix the core of the problem. Don't let the corporations, the robots we created, steamroll us and buy off our government. Get the money out of politics. How much clearer does it have to be? We think the way to do that is wolf-pac.com. Every generation of Americans has gotten an amendment passed. You're supposed to do that. George Washington said the most important thing we have is amendments so that you can continue to fix this Constitution as we go along, because you're going to need to do that. Well, we need to do it right now. We need an amendment so that these guys cannot buy our representatives anymore. Wolf-pac.com. Join the fight. Otherwise, one day, you're going to be in that video.